Coming up on AC 24/7, new developments in the death of a Virginia man inside a mental health facility. What a grand jury is saying as new video of the encounter is released. Plus, trouble in paradise. Bad Bunny's ex-girlfriend filing a $40 million lawsuit. We'll tell you what she's claiming. And Netflix goes retro with a new twist. We catch up with Nick Lachey, the host of the new dating show, Perfect Match. Hey there, welcome to AC 24/7. I'm your host, Lamar Baldwin. Many of former President Donald Trump's associates are facing their share of legal trouble with the possibility that the former president can be indicted any day. The Advocate Channel's Tom Foreman reports.
The list of Trump allies tied to crimes has been picking up new names for years. Start with Steve Bannon.
I stand with Trump and the Constitution.
Trump's firebrand advisor was slapped with a fine and 4 months in prison for ignoring a congressional subpoena about the attack on the Capitol. His time behind bars is on hold while he appeals. He's also pleaded not guilty to New York State charges of money laundering, conspiracy, and fraud.
They will never shut me up. They'll have to kill me first.
Alan Weisselberg, Trump's longtime chief financial officer, is serving 5 months for tax fraud and was ordered to pay $2 million in back taxes, interest, and penalties. He's agreed to pay more than $3 million to the government over his tax filings. He spent 2 years in prison for bank and tax fraud, illegal foreign lobbying, and more before Trump pardoned him. Rick Gates pleaded guilty to aiding and abetting Manafort in concealing $75 million in foreign bank accounts. He spent 45 days in jail and became a government informant.
The next president of the United States, right here.
Trump pardoned Michael Flynn, once his national security advisor, who admitted lying to the FBI about his contact with Russia. Then he tried to walk that admission back. Flynn's now suing the government, alleging malicious prosecution. Advisor George Papadopoulos got 12 days for lying to investigators in the Russia probe. He was pardoned. George Nader was an informal campaign advisor who pleaded guilty to sex crimes. Elliot Brody, a fundraiser, pleaded guilty to running a secret lobbying campaign. Roger Stone was convicted of lying to Congress. Trump pardoned him too. And there is former Trump attorney Michael Cohen, confined nearly 3 years after admitting several crimes, including campaign finance violations. He now routinely calls for accountability for his former boss.
Everyone needs to be held to the same standard of the law, and that includes former presidents.
None of this proves Donald Trump committed any crimes before, during, or after his presidency, but it does give his critics a lot to say about the company he keeps.
A Virginia grand jury has formally indicted 3 hospital workers and 7 sheriff's deputies on charges of second-degree murder in the death of Ivo Otieno. The 28-year-old died during a struggle inside a mental health hospital. The Advocate Channel's Brian Todd has more, a warning viewers could find this video disturbing.
Handcuffed and leg shackled, Ivo Otieno is brought into the intake area of Virginia's Central State Hospital with some difficulty. Within minutes, he is on the floor. For the next 12 or 13 minutes, he will be held down by deputies and staffers, sometimes with a deputy on top of him. At points, his position changes, or the officers reposition their grip. There is no audio, and for much of the video, Otieno is not in full view. At least once, a deputy seems to use his knee to restrain him. Later, he is turned on his side. A person appears to administer an injection, and then CPR. It is not clear exactly when he died or his official cause of death. Today, 7 deputies were indicted by a grand jury for second-degree murder, as were 3 hospital staffers.
The victim in this case was not fighting back or anything. There was no legitimate purpose for holding him down on the ground.
911 calls show how a hospital staffer described the incident.
He used to be aggressive, right? So they're trying to put him in restraint. Then eventually he's no longer breathing. They're doing a CPR right now, and there's no pulse anymore.
Also just released jail video that the prosecutor says shows Otieno before he was transported to the mental facility. It shows commotion around the slot in the door of his cell. The prosecutor alleges Otieno is handcuffed. Yet even so, she says, pepper spray is sprayed through the door slot.
He was pepper sprayed while he was in the cell alone, not posing a danger to anyone.
6 officers then enter the cell, and the prosecutor alleges blows are delivered. Nearly 15 minutes later, he is carried out in handcuffs, and deputies load him into an SUV to drive him to the mental facility. An attorney for one charged deputy says the cause of death could have been something else, like the injection, and says Otieno was violent, aggressive, and non-compliant.
The officers who were there had to hold him and constrain him, given not only his resistance previously, but out of concern for others around, given his mental state.
But Otieno's mother says that's not what the video shows.
My son was treated like a dog, worse than a dog. I saw it with my own eyes on the video.
Testimony is underway in the trial of a ski collision involving actress Gwyneth Paltrow. Terry Sanderson accuses Paltrow of crashing into him, causing serious injuries and brain damage. Both were skiing on a beginner's run on a Utah mountain in 2016. Sanderson also claims Paltrow and her ski instructor left the scene without getting him medical care. Paltrow filed a countersuit claiming that Sanderson skied into her. Sanderson is seeking in excess of $300,000 in damages. Superstar Bad Bunny is being sued by his ex-girlfriend for $40 million. The Puerto Rican singer's ex-girlfriend Carlise De La Cruz Hernandez is accusing the singer of using her voice in 2 songs without her consent. According to the lawsuit, she said she came up with the phrase Bad Bunny Baby, and it was used in the songs Patty and Dos Meat 16. Combined, the songs have more than 400 million views on YouTube and 500 million reproductions on Spotify. The two first dated in 2011 but broke up in 2017. Bad Bunny has not responded to the lawsuit. Chicago's Lollapalooza Music Festival has announced its 2023 lineup. Kendrick Lamar, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Billie Eilish, and Tomorrow X together are set to headline the festival. For the first time in the festival history, a K-pop group is also set to headline. Over 170 bands are set to grace 9 different stages for the event, slated to be held August 3rd through August 6th. Social experiments are in, and Netflix has another hit dating show to add to the list. Couples have to prove their compatibility through challenges and matchups, and The Advocate Channel's Rachel Smith caught up with the host Nick Lachey to talk about the series.
When you started this whole hosting journey, that you would become the modern day Chuck Woolery, right?
I've been called worse, that's for sure. I've been called worse. I love Chuck Woolery. I'll take that any day.
Remember 2 and 2? We're back in 2 and 2.
He was, I remember being like homesick as a kid watching Chuck Woolery on TV. That's awesome. No, I mean, look, this is my 3rd show hosting a love type show for Netflix, and I'm so grateful that I get to do it. I mean, they're also different from each other too, right? Love Is Blind is very different from Ultimatum and very different from Perfect Match, which is the new show I'm hosting. So, I'm very, 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 very thankful and grateful that I get this opportunity for sure.
I mean, when Netflix came to you and said, we've got this idea to mash up all these shows into one like epic experience, like what was your response?
My response was, sounds great to me. Sign me up. Where are we going? No, I mean, I think it's brilliant. You've got all these people from all their, obviously Love Is Blind and Ultimatum, but The Circle, Too Hot to Handle, The Mole, these other Netflix dating shows, and they didn't find what they were looking for on those shows. They didn't find their someone. So this is another chance to have another go around at it.
By the way, of all of the shows that come together for this, which one would a young single Nick do best on?
You know what? I'm a pretty emotional guy. Like, I'm a pretty sensitive guy. I think Love Is Blind would have been my wheelhouse, because I would have bared my soul and gotten all wrapped up and fallen in love and then it would have been hook, line, sinker for me.
Thank you for joining us for AC 24/7. For more content that advocates to you, go to advocatechannel.com and make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Lamont Baldwin.